What up, what up, what up? You already know what it is, man. It's your man, Tony the Tycoon. Welcome to Gridiron Games, and it is telling me you are now live. Welcome all are welcome. It is your man, Tony the Tycoon. I am excited today to talk to you guys, man. We got a special guest coming on. This gentleman is the epitome of perseverance, but he's also the epitome of what transition looks like. And as you guys are listening to the smooth grooves of Mr. Nipsey Hussle, you know, we checking for people around here, man. Do you have what it takes when things don't go the way that you want it to go? When it don't go the way you want it to go, do you have what it takes to continue to persevere? Well, this young man that's coming on, he has done that. You'll see it in his story that he's been, he was drafted in the NFL. Yes, he was a draftee, which is a phenomenal feat in itself. I know that we just had the NFL draft passed in April. And so this young man was able to be a part of that, to hear his name called. And we'll dive into a little bit of that story, how he can talk about, how to accept the invitation, and then we'll go from there. But I hope everybody's Monday is going phenomenal in Dallas, Texas. It's a little rainy, but it's still a great day. And we
Yo,
got the man, the myth, the legend here himself, Mr. Trey Caldwell. How are you, sir? How are you
man, I'm
doing?
doing good. How you doing?
Doing excellently excellent, wonderfully well, phenomenally phenomenal, too blessed to be stressed,
Hey,
and if I
I love to
was, you
hear it,
wouldn't know
man. It's
about it.
good seeing you. It's good seeing you, bro. Love it.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Well, listen, man, welcome to Gridiron Games, brother. I appreciate you for joining on as I'm trying to get this camera straight. All right, we're good.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
good.
so I appreciate you joining on, man. Just want to be able to use your story to be able to help those athletes that are in your space, have been in your space, or that are looking to go to your space, man. And so that's what we're hoping to get out of this today, and by sharing your story. So with that
Yeah,
being said, man, I got a quick question for you. All right. If I say Berkner High School,
yeah,
yeah, you see that smile that's on his face,
yeah,
y'all?
yeah.
Listen. That's memories, man. Tell us about growing up in Dallas, man, and going to Berkner. And then also, what were some of the lessons that you learned that carried you as you went on to the next level, that being to, I believe, University of Louisiana Monroe, ULL,
Yeah.
man.
hmm
Yeah.
Man, I think, man, growing up in Richardson, Dallas, Texas area, Berkner, there was athletes growing up just everywhere, to be honest. Even ones that you would think that would make it to the next level, that would help
Mm.
prepare you. I think the biggest factor was, could everyone get into that same amount of could everyone get into that same amount of level when it comes to the education part as well? Because when it gets to D1, when it gets to schools one to pick and choose the perfect athlete, you do have to have the education factor. And shoot, you got to just know to what you want in life as well. I think starting off, it really started about when I was the age of 12, that I did want to pursue the professional football level of being in the NFL. I had great friends, great mentorship growing up. I didn't only just play football, so I grew up playing, select soccer, select basketball. I always give a huge shout out to one of my mentors when I was playing in basketball as well. I think I had the right leaders, right mentors in front of me. Everyone, even friends, you always gotta let, sometimes say no as well. I
Mm.
think a lot of the times, I had a lot of extra time to put forth my craft when it came to football. I always credit all my trainers that I started probably like summer going into my junior year. That's when I hit that huge leap of
Mm.
my not only if I that I had the athleticism, that God given talent, but create the strength, the the speed with the technique, that I could really just gradually get better each and every year. I think that is probably what made me, continue to get better in each and every year that got me to the next level.
So in that pursuit to get better, right?
Hmm.
What were some of the things that you were looking for to give you that extra edge that you needed to elevate so that you could get to the next level?
I think some of the things that I was looking for, uh, I know I already knew I had a size disadvantage.
Mm,
So what are some things that I can leverage with me being, I mean, in high school, I was probably 5'8", 5'9", or buck 70 my
yeah,
senior year. What are some things I could leverage when it comes to guarding the biggest receivers or guarding guys more quicker or faster? So I knew I needed to work on my speed and my athleticism on high pointing the ball.
yeah,
So I made sure whether it was speed ladders, I used to hit speed ladders in my house, at my house, and do little, really critique little things that I know I needed to work on to get better. Because I knew I don't have that 6 foot type wingspan to really press.
yeah.
I knew I had the speed and the agility to mirror more. So I think I took that into play more. I watch film on smaller corners. Like it doesn't make sense for me to watch film on a guy that's a 6'2" corner. We do different things. He can do different things than I do. And
Yeah.
I realized that at a younger age, so I knew that is kind of the thing I needed to work on. I think really what helped me also, one of the biggest athletes, Keith Talib. I mean, he went to Berkeley High School.
Mm,
I met him my junior year into going into the summer, and I think seeing him in the NFL, that just gave me a more confidence boost. Like, okay, like we went to the same high school. I mean, he killed it in at Kansas, and then now he might be a potential. I think he'll be a Hall of Fame corner. So seeing that and at his young stage of the NFL, that also helped me just have a better vision, have a better blueprint on like, okay, these are some of the things he's doing.
yep.
Like, if I can't at least match that or gradually get to that point, then I know that's not going to be the level that I'll be able to reach.
So you were able to work on the small things, and that's what I tell a
Mhm.
lot of guys. It's not a lot. It's not times. It's not the big things, man. It's the
Yeah.
minute details that take you to the top.
Hmm.
You not only had a vision of where you wanted to go, but then you also had a vision of being able to see somebody that came from the same place that you came from
Exactly.
do it.
Mhm.
So you had an example, which is important, right? That's the image.
Yeah.
And then also you did all of the things that you needed to do in order to get yourself better each and every day, man. So you locked in
Yeah.
on that. That's one of the things that I think about when I'm listening to you, man, is
Mhm.
how much these young guys don't understand. Man, it's not the big things. It's not, trying to show
Not.
up on social
Yeah.
media, man. It's the things you do when nobody's looking. You talked
Yeah.
about having a ladder at your house. I mean, you putting in the
Yeah. I
work
used to
when
be in the
nobody's looking.
backyard hitting the
Yeah.
ladders.
No,
All it
no,
takes
no
is about 15
applause.
extra minutes.
Yeah.
But that compound of work
Yeah.
over time, I mean that goes a long way. Because I mean I wasn't a 5-star athlete, 4-star. Shoot, I wasn't 3-star. Thinking about it, um, I didn't play varsity up until my junior year. I
Yeah.
played in the man. I played in the playoff game my sophomore year, but that was really due to an emergency. One of the
Yeah.
athletes he caught staph.
Yeah.
I kid you not. My high school coach called me at 6 p.m. like, "Hey, you're gonna be starting. You're gonna be
Mm.
playing corner, going against Garland High School." And you know, think about getting that call and you trying to prep what a couple hours. I mean, really 8 hours until game day.
Yep.
And yeah, I had to really kind of dial in because I knew I wasn't really at the time. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a sophomore on varsity, or it's the playoff game. Like they'll have us on the sidelines. I might play special teams,
Yeah.
but no, getting that surprise call, I was like, oh, okay, well,
Next man up.
shoot, I'm here.
Yeah. Next
It
man
was
up, man. Stay ready
I
so you
went
don't
to
have to get ready.
exactly. It
Yeah.
And what's funny, it wasn't like a rude awakening. I think I did okay for my first ever game,
Yeah,
but definitely I knew like okay, like these guys are pretty bigger than where I'm at right now. I was skinny my
yeah,
sophomore year. I was like a buck 55, and I knew going into the summer where I had a goal like I know I need to reach this at
yeah.
least 10, 15 pounds, and I was able to reach that. I gained 15 pounds going to my junior year. I'm a 170-pound corner in high school. It's pretty decent. Um, and yeah, I think I know with social media,
Yeah,
NIL, it's a different ball game now for
yeah.
sure. But I mean, the work is the work. Uh,
Work is the work.
if that will never change.
Correct.
Kids can. There is more avenues of trainers, facilities now in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
We do have it's the best of the best. Athletes are speed is getting faster all around. So,
Man, everybody's
but
pocket 4.4s now, man. We got
yeah.
D
So you got a
linemen,
guy
defensive linemen running 4.47, man.
at 270, like
Yeah,
it's crazy. So
yeah,
it I think the biggest thing is definitely the compound of interest of work.
yeah. Absolutely.
Because I wouldn't have gotten to where I wouldn't have gotten drafted by the Browns fifth round if I just would have been comfortable. I knew I wasn't comfortable in my craft. I knew like there's no way like how can I set myself apart differently?
Well, you
And
did
that was
that though. That's what I was
yeah.
going to ask you next. I'm segue into that. You did do that
Mhm.
because if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, what 143 tackles and 4 picks at ULM?
Hmm.
That's the stats, man. That's not small
Yeah, yeah.
potatoes, man. Which got you on the roster at that type of school. You know, being in that conference, the Sun Belt Conference. So, what was your biggest growth moment? You know, as a student athlete, both on and off the field, right? Because they both correlate, and I think a lot of athletes need to know that how you do in the academic space does show up on how you do in the sports space. So, what was your
Yeah.
biggest moment, both on and off the field, to be able to accomplish that feat, man? Because that's not small. That's not a small
Man,
feat.
I think the biggest thing when it comes to the education, school, like being educated or taking that serious, that creates a better habit. It creates good habits. When
Yeah,
you are needing to watch film, you're needing to know the opponent.
yeah,
Because just think like, okay, you're lackadaisical in school, you're doing this, it will show in
yep,
some part of your game. And I think that's probably the main factor when it came to outside of school
yep,
or outside of playing. I always made sure like, okay, let me not. I'm not going to say I was an A+ student, but I'm at least do the tasks I need to do the work, do the assignments on time. Hey, there was sometimes I had to pull some all-nighters. Hey, I was a marketing major, so
yeah,
finance, accounting. I can't say I did the best at accounting, but I at least tried.
yeah,
That's all they ask. That's all what they ask for. Like, are you
yep,
trying? Are you at least show up on time for class? Just do the work. If you really need some extra help, get a tutor. I think just showing effort was the biggest thing,
yeah.
and that plays a part in your game. Like
Correct.
I knew at corner, I don't have I don't have really any room for error. So how can I really create an advantage? It's gonna have to be film. I'm gonna have to watch more. That's just how it works. I already have a disadvantage for height. All right, so let me create. All right, let me get into the film. Let me break down some stuff so I can already prepare and have a better preparation for certain things that I might see when it comes to different personnels in the offensive schemes. So I think it all plays a part um, when it comes to outside of football.
Trey, if I'm hearing you right, man, you took the same skill sets that you developed in high school from your sophomore year and decided that I'm
Mm.
going to elevate this and continue to build myself up physically so that I can be where I want to be, that being varsity. You accomplished that. You then
Hmm.
took that same skill set to college at ULM and applied it to grades. And as you said, like, hey, you didn't get the A, like the A's and B's like you probably wanted, but you put the effort in and you were
Hmm.
rewarded for that effort. And so now
Hmm.
you take that same thought process and you get drafted in the fifth round by the Cleveland Browns, man. Walk us through that moment and talk to us about the mindset that helped you prepare to get drafted, and then
Hmm.
what was draft day like? Because I know a lot of people want to, being able to hear that
Man,
firsthand from
yeah,
somebody, man. What was
man,
your
yeah.
draft
My
day story like?
my draft day was kind of simple, man. So to piggyback, before draft day, I wasn't invited to the NFL Combine.
Okay.
But I had some senior, I guess, senior NFL invites, senior game invites,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really going back and forth with my agent at the time. Like, okay, like, is this something I need to do, or like, will it help my draft stock? And he was kind of giving me game, like, I mean, from what I'm hearing right now, you have enough scouts that I think it's best for you not to do the senior game. And I didn't do it. I just really, man, I still had 12 hours to get my degree, so I made sure I had two classes online, and I had two afternoon classes, and I was training for a pro day at Monroe at one of the facilities about 15 minutes out in West Monroe. Shout out to
Mm.
them, I mean, bro. Like I knew I just needed to run my run my race. To be
Yeah.
honest, I know I I ran track. I won the 100-meter dash in my district junior year. Got second my senior year. So I just knew let me just run my race, run the fast 40 that I've been running since I stepped foot on the college campus.
Yeah.
And the agility part that was for junior high, high school, college. For me, I was like, okay, I just need to catch the football when they throw it to me.
Yeah.
Because I was always, that was one thing I have had was quickness. It was just the top end speed. Like, how can I get my 40 faster? And man, pro day, I couldn't have had a better day.
Mm.
Ran 4.32 in the 40. I mean, my O cone was like six, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was like 6.5,
Mm.
6.6 L cone. And all my cornerback DB drills was perfect. Didn't drop the ball, quick feet, quick out of your break. So after that, I had a couple scouts talk to me, Giants, Bucks, and shoot, man, the Raiders pulled up to my high school. I got a
Man.
notification from my head coach that the Raiders came by and wanted to talk to him about me. How was I growing up?
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets to draft day, and I knew I wasn't gonna be a day one, day two pick. They when it got to after the season, I knew I was either not new, but after pro day, I was like, okay, I might have at least a free agent shot. Day
Yeah.
three, I could be a day three guy. That's
Yeah.
what kind of like the buzz was gonna be around. And man, I'm watching it with. I'm still on campus. I was at my off-campus apartment. Me and my buddy, we were watching at his spot. Oh man, I kid you not, the Giants called me that day three in the morning, probably 7:30 in the morning. Like,
Hmm.
hey, if we if we're still available, if you're still available by sixth round, well, they didn't say by sixth round, but if you're still available, we're gonna try and grab you. So
Mm.
of course, I'm checking what picks do the Giants have,
Yep.
and that next pick was sixth round. So I mean, it gets to about 15 to 30 minutes of day three. Then lunchtime pops around. Me and my buddy, we're like, hey, bro, let's hurry up and grab some food. Come back, see the name get called. Man, they call. I get the Browns caller ID. They call me at the drive-thru at Chicken Express. Uh,
Man, while that man was getting chicken, his life is about to
man,
change,
we
boy.
at the drive-thru trying to grab a three-piece,
That's your
and
favorite restaurant to this day.
man, I still wonder why they ain't give me a sponsor, man. I still wonder. I tried to, like, agent, like, yo,
Yeah,
it could be a thing.
yeah.
Uh, and
Absolutely.
yeah, man, I hopped out the car, running in and out of the drive-thru, and broke down and cried, man. It was because
Yeah.
just to think. I mean, I wrote this down. I mean, when I was age of 12, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And of course, it didn't pan out how I wanted it to be. You
Yeah.
always set your goals. Like, I mean, I wanted to play for at least. I said till I was 30.
Yeah.
At least get to those two contracts in, because I know there is a lot of life after football.
Yep.
I was never football, football, football. Of course, while I was playing, but I was out of the NFL in technically 2020, when I got
Mm.
into the XFL. And so there were some things I kind of got out of my good habits when I got into the NFL.
Mm.
I think I could have done more work in the film room when I was in the NFL for sure.
Yeah.
I would always I was always doing like extra footwork, one-on-ones, make sure everything's right. But when it got to the NFL, I was also playing a couple different positions.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't just playing, all right, corner, field, match your guy. I'm playing nickel too. And I
Yeah.
would get some things mixed up. You can't, the room for error is smaller in the NFL.
Yeah.
Next guy up, everybody's an athlete, everybody can do what you did. It was, I kid you not, I mean, Browns and Titans, the teams I played, there's probably like one guy I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like athletically, they don't fit it. I don't know how they made it, but they might not they made it. But
Yeah.
other than that, everybody was a dog. I
No
mean,
doubt. When you look at
that's
the
all it is.
NFL, I was gonna say when you look at the NFL, man,
Hmm.
the NFL has a lot of people from a talent perspective. What I've seen is there's a lot of things that play into it. There's opportunity. Some
Yeah,
people get more opportunity than others. But there's also separating factors,
yeah,
right? So if you're a player that doesn't make mistakes, that's a separating factor. That means a coach can trust you, especially when the game's on the line and they have to have it. You have to have that block. You have to have
fourth
that stop. You
quarter
have to have
minute.
that catch.
Yeah,
You got to cover that receiver. If you're a guy that doesn't make mistakes, you're going to have a lot of time. So there's a lot of separating factors in that. When you talk about separating factors, man, I want to kind of move because you and I both we work in some money space. We deal with the money
yeah,
space a little bit.
hmm
One of the separating factors that I see with the guys that have done well off the field,
hmm
a lot of times they are the lower level draft picks, right? Because they are not getting the big contracts, so they have a great advantage, right? Six figures is not nothing to, I'm not mad at it. So they
yeah,
have an advantage,
exactly.
but you got to be able to figure out how do we make this money stretch and how do we grow it, man. So my question to you, because you talked about being on different teams and XFL and things of that nature. Um, but with your time spent, with multiple teams, how did that mold your financial stewardship? Like, what were some money tricks that you had in the NFL that were good? I guess was a good model for you that you still continue to use this day.
Man, that's a great question. I think the biggest model, for me, honestly, it was the
50, 30, 20?
50-30-20 model.
Yeah,
I still use that to this day. It's
love it.
definitely helped me out for sure.
Can you explain to the listeners what that is? Because some people might not know what that is.
So I know certain, if you're W-2 commission, that whatever that paycheck,
Yeah.
50% is your living expense.
Yep.
30% it can be your savings that you want to put in. It can be Roth, 401k that's being kind of cut from that paycheck. And
Yeah.
then the 20% is like your emergency fund.
Mm.
That's kind of how I've started to really revamp my financial gain is
Love it.
that 50/30/20 model. Um, because yeah, I mean, just think, I mean, you're in the league at 21, 22. I mean, I remember some guys weren't even touching 21 yet, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't realize how young you are until you're out of it.
Yep.
And so, yeah, you do have to have a financial blueprint. I
Yep.
did have a financial advisor, so of course I kept a certain amount in my savings, and I had a budget that just to stay around this budget. But I've never been. I mean, I like food. That I don't spend money on anything crazy.
Yeah.
Of course, I got a new car when I got into the NFL, but I made sure. I mean, I kept my Ford Explorer really until until the snowstorms started coming. That's when I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, okay, this isn't gonna last. But
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
um, to that's probably what I use the most to make my money stretch. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're gonna be out the league at on average 3 years on average. If you're thinking
Yep.
about, it, you're only 25. And I stopped playing ball. I was out the league at technically NFL 25, but I officially stopped playing when I was 28, 27.
Yeah. And there's a lot of life left, man.
Yeah, a lot
A
of life.
lot of life.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 31, but I feel, I'm still active. So,
Absolutely.
but definitely there's a lot of different ways and things. Of course, I wish I would have known
Yeah.
more or wish I would have done more when I was playing.
Yeah.
But now you know the game, I know the game that I can use now. So it's definitely I would say, I mean, it's a process. I mean, everything you need to learn, you just don't know that the game could be cut short so fast.
We don't believe it. We believe we're gonna play like Tom Brady or 10 years like we're here now, right? That's the biggest
Yeah,
thing like you hear. It's like I'm here now, man. They're gonna have to take it from me. Well, guess
yeah,
what? The reality is sometimes they will take it from you, right?
yeah.
But I think that's don't think I know that's the reason why having an identity outside of your
Mhm,
sport is so important. The NFL, no matter how long you play, can be an amazing launch pad if you already understand what your purpose is, right? And
mhm.
so for me, I believe purpose is found at your proficiency and your calling. At the intersection of that is your purpose, man. And so I actually wrote a book about it called The Alignment of Belief and Becoming. I'm gonna get a copy in your hands, bro,
Okay,
because
perfect.
your
Yeah, send
story
them my way.
resonates with what the book is about. It's about being able to discover self and then understanding once you discover self, how you can build something with that to go and serve a market to still have the life that you believe the NFL was going to be able to provide. And that's what I see a lot of
Hmm.
times. A lot of times guys go in, yeah, they love the game, but they also love the ideology of, man, I got to get to the next check. I'm going to be straight. When the reality is that you can leverage where you are now and use those three letters, the NFL, to elevate yourself with brand, to elevate yourself in market, to elevate yourself in
Hmm.
purpose, and have a longer tenure financial life now than you ever did when you're in the league. It's some people that I know that are making more money now than they ever did in the
Hmm.
NFL, and they still use the NFL to this day to do it. So that's important, man. I believe that a lot of people have to discover their purpose.
Yeah.
And speaking of purpose, man, like how did you shift your sense of identity once you retire? You talked about being done at 28. You're
Yeah.
31 now, so you officially been done with ball for around 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But you scaled, at least from the outside looking in and seeing the real estate thing that
Yeah.
you're doing, man. You scaled so fast, man. How did you find your sense of purpose and identity after leaving the league? And how did you navigate that also
Hmm.
internally? Because there's an internal change that has to happen too.
Yeah. Man, I think, man, I've always put faith first, but I think when I got out of the league, I really was able to dive in more.
Mm.
And another thing, I wasn't afraid to ask questions. I had I had, guys who didn't make it into the NFL, but are successful in their industries, and I was asking them questions. Is this something I could make a career path in? Um,
Yeah,
I can definitely continue to scale what I'm doing now. Like
yeah,
there isn't what's crazy. What I love about this business, being a mortgage loan officer, is like, hey, like I've always been that person. Like I'm helping hand, serving. It's just another avenue now. I'm helping people get into the financial field to get into their first purchase of a house or get into recurring investments. So I think the biggest thing for me, how I found my identity. I mean, man, I got in that word. I found
love
my
it.
church home in 2018.
Mm,
It's definitely been up. It's been a roller coaster for sure.
yeah,
Those first year and that first year and a half, 2 years. I mean, it was rough. I can't say it was all fairy tales. Like, oh yeah, now I'm out the league and business is good. It took some real. I mean, it took some real like hustle. Like I'm still hustling now, trying to continue to pick up business and do different things. Dallas is a huge city. It's
mm,
growing
man,
fast.
a lot of
Whole
opportunity here.
metroplex. So
Yeah,
how can I use and tailor what I used to do, my career in the NFL? How can I tailor to that now and help others? Because I mean, I've always given back. Shoot, Tuesdays was off days in the NFL. I always made sure I was going to be a part of some nonprofit, whether it was with the Browns or with the Titans, do different events around the city. So I think I just kind of was still and made sure, like, okay, what are some things that I am good at? What are some personality traits that help me and that could help me really gain more of an advantage now in the corporate or real estate world. So I think that was my way of finding my identity.
yeah. Let me ask you this question: do you have a mentor in the mortgage and lending space now that's helping you, or is this more, I'm wanting to figure it out and allow
Hmm.
life to give me the experiences so that I can continue to grow that way?
Yeah. Yes. So actually, the owner of the company I work with, he's a mentor of mine for sure.
That's the best
Um,
mentor you can have.
so definitely,
If you own the company,
man,
that's the
he,
best
he a
mentor.
true you want to talk about a true hustler. I
Yeah,
mean, he hasn't been in the industry for not even 10 years, and he's crushing it. So I always have questions and anything that I can't answer when it comes to the mortgage field. I mean, I
yeah,
can go to him. We have another guy that I work with. He's a co-worker of mine, but he's more the senior loan officer level. That if there's any other questions or things that I need to learn, that I have two guys that I can go to. uh,
love it.
have a full team, but definitely on the mentor aspect of things, yes, I go to them to continue to grow my business.
Got you. I got a two-part question for you.
Yeah.
Um, because we see what you're building in the mortgage lending space, right? So, how do you believe that ties into who you are? Is the first question, and then the second one is, if you're advising younger players, like how would you encourage them to prepare financially before that exit comes? Because like I know, man, it can come at any time.
Hmm. Yeah. So repeat that first question again.
So the first one is, being in the mortgage and lending space. You've been drawn to that, and you're having fun with
Yeah.
that. I see you on social media all the time. How does that identify with your purpose? Like, how does that align with who you are and what you want to do? And then, subsequently,
Yeah.
what advice would you give younger people that are getting ready to come out of the not even the professional sport, because now collegiately it might not even get to the level that you and I got you,
Hmm.
right? And so, but they're making money now. So what
Hmm.
financial advice would you give to them as they get ready to exit from sport into the real world?
Hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to the certain things that you need to learn for the mortgage field.
Yeah.
I think, man, I keep forgetting that question. Just
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
the first.
I'll give you the first one. How does
Yeah, yeah,
being
yeah.
a mortgage lender, how does being a mortgage lender align with your purpose?
Okay. Yeah. So how it aligns with my purpose is being a servant, being a helping
Mm,
hand. Because
mm,
if you're really thinking about it on the, if you're really thinking on the transactional side of things,
yeah,
it's gonna sound forced. It's gonna sound gimme, gimme. Like, hey, just do this, just do that. But like, we gotta understand, like this. Usually, at the point, it's gonna be a lot of the times the biggest purchase of some people's lives.
yeah,
And everybody has a story why they want to purchase, why they want to do this. It could be, they want to expand, have a bigger family on generations to come, but some other people's stories it could not be that. Like they had family pass, they
yeah,
have living benefits now, and they can finally get into a home. They're moving from overseas to the U.S. Due to job commute,
yeah,
and they're the first family to be in the US. They still have family in Mexico. They still have family in Brazil. They still have family in all other different parts of the country. So to be that servant, to be that person of really that they can trust,
yeah.
you got to think this is a huge purchase. To be personable, just always let them know, like, yeah, you not only I'm here to advise them on the best situations, but I wanna grow with them as well. Be personal, build a relationship, not make it transactional.
I
Uh,
love that.
be a servant, help. Always be a good listener, because there's gonna be times there might be some things that happen that's out of your control.
Yeah,
But you want to make sure that you always communicate and just go about it the right way.
yeah.
I think that's what is my purpose. I've always been a helpful, have a big heart, and I've just transitioned it to this field.
I love it, man. No, that's you drop some gems in there, man. You got to be a servant first. Like the good
Mm.
book says, the greatest among you will be your servant, man. The more you think about others' needs, the more your needs will be met. I've seen that in my space as well. So, with that being said, the other part of that question would be, that's what you leverage now, and I see you doing a great job using your NFL background to help you in that space too. So, how would you advise the younger players uh, that are on their way out, getting ready to shift out of
Mhm.
football, period, or just sports in general?
Yeah.
How would you advise them to start thinking about that exit, especially financially? What are some tips that you would give them that's helped you? It could be something that you did on your way
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, I think really the best tip for athletes to that are even thinking about transitioning, not even in the mortgage field or trying to get into a home, I think always really always have a game plan.
Mm,
Whether I think it's the best thing is to start that blueprint is to talk to a mortgage or real estate professional. Everyone all We all have friends in a real estate field. Don't be afraid to ask those questions,
yeah,
because at the point in time, they might be out the league. They might have employment. They've been going in and out of the NFL, NBA, MLB,
yep,
any professional sport. Uh, to definitely ask those questions, and also, of course, have some money on the side, so when they are ready to purchase, that employment gap isn't going to be an issue.
yeah,
There is certain lenders for me, for extent that we do have programs for clients who have employment gap.
yeah,
Of course, it's a higher down payment, but there's different options,
yeah,
and definitely best thing is really keep that credit high. Credit is king.
Yeah.
And that it can make or break certain deals.
Yeah.
So definitely to always be responsible when it comes to credit cards or responsible in taxes. I think that's a big thing too, because when it comes to college athletes getting certain NIL deals, and if it's not already taxed, then they
Yep.
might get hit with a certain amount of like, okay, Uncle Sam's coming at your door, or
Yep.
like, yeah, yeah, now you know this is real life, and I think that's probably the when it comes to the basics on what how to start or what to do once you're out. Definitely that 50 shoot the 50-30-20 rule
Yeah.
is to leave that 20 on the side for in case you want to get into a house for first purchase down payment. There's so many different options. I mean, first time home buyers, a lot of people don't know like you can only put there's certain programs you can put 3% down if you're a first time home buyer.
Mm.
Some think it's just at 20. That's not the case. So it's always being one step ahead. Always ask. Really, I always say YouTube University. I mean, ask if now there's so many avenues that you should at least be able to have a good enough gist on like what to do or how the amount of money to keep or stack once you want to get into a home.
I love what you talked about that as it pertains to using credit. What a lot of people don't understand, man, is that when you have your credit high, if you have a particular investment that you want to make and you know it's going to yield you passive income and your credit is right, man, you can pull money from off that credit limit
Hmm.
and leverage the bank's money to make that investment. So now
Yeah,
what happens is when that investment does what it's supposed to do, you're able to create passive income using the bank's money. Here's the better part. If that investment fails, then you lost the bank's money and not yours, and you can still
hmm,
re-up with your principal by being able to pay and then continue to keep your credit up by just paying the monthly distribution that's asked to be paid on their credit
yeah,
card, man. So that's the leverage space. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I talk about is I've coined it the legacy loop. It's what we teach our athletes with Athlete Alliance as well as at Staff Financial. But
hmm,
we talk about earning, so we want to make sure that we're earning, right? Obviously, whatever we're doing to do that, principle based, right? That could be 1099, W-2, it doesn't matter. We
hmm,
talk about storing, and within that storing trade, one of the things that I leverage and that I get our guys to leverage, man, we leverage insurance policies that have
hmm.
contractual returns to allow that money to continue to compound. So we store our money in that, right? Mutual funds, store our money in that. High yield savings accounts, store
Yeah,
our
that's a
money in
big
that.
one
Yeah, right.
that
Having
we go over
having
with
that
clients. Hmm.
exactly have that money making money, right? And then so now that we have money making money, we can alleviate the rush to jump into some of these things that people try to get us to jump into for their own reason. We can sit back and really evaluate if that's a good investment that aligns with us. And then the last thing that we do is invest, right? So that we're able to get that return that we're like, but we've already done the research on that. So if I'm a guy that's been researching franchises for 2.5 years, I'm ready to go, right? My money's been earning money. I got the play. I'm ready to go. And so now we'll leverage the insurance contract the same way that Elon Musk and them leverages their
Hmm.
stock. We'll go and take a loan from the bank, use the bank's money to make a bigger purchase. That's the legacy loop. Rinse, wash, and repeat, man.
Yeah,
So when I'm talking about legacy in the stand, that's the stance for finance, right? I wanted to just drop a gem on that for people that are listening. But what does legacy mean to you, right? Whether that be economically or just intrinsically, like what does legacy mean to Trey?
I think legacy. What that means to me, I mean, if you really think about it, how do people think of you? Like
Yeah,
when your name is brought up, what do people think of you?
love
Like
that.
to build that legacy, um, how were you really being respected to others, and do you reciprocate that respect? I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to legacy.
Yeah,
Like each step of your career, did you impact others? Did you help others? Like, were you just serving. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, how were you in your community? Did you
Mm,
give back? Did you do the things you said you were going to do? Did you not hold back? Like, just always help others. I think that's when it comes to legacy. Because certain when it comes to sports on that legacy side, like I think that's always. I couldn't think of the word, but on the legacy side of thing of sports, like what impact did you make for
impact.
kids that want to get into that level?
Love that word.
Like, did you
Impact.
did you did you create a positive impact? Did you make sure, like, if a kid asks questions or if they want you to be their mentor, like, were you able to help every step of the way? Availability, I think that's the biggest thing, because everyone's busy now. But if you can find that availability to help others, that's going to create a bigger impact and a bigger legacy.
Man, listen, legacy is impact for sure. And I talk about that as it pertains to my purpose, man. My purpose is to be able to give wisdom and subtlety to individuals, knowledge and skill, and to be able to help them identify their purpose so that they can create the impact that their purpose was meant to create. So I love that word, man. And you've been able to create impact, man. You've been a staple in your community. People that have gone to Berkner High School have been able to see your name in the lights, man. They saw you put on that NFL jersey. So you became your version of a key to lead. My question to you is this, as a final message. What would you say to athletes who might be afraid of reinventing themselves, man? Because you had to do that. You've now been in that space for 3 or 4 years. So you do have some insight on this. What message can you give to those individuals that saying, man, I've been a football player, I've been a basketball player my whole life. What am I supposed to do now?
That's a good message. I think to have faith. Don't be afraid to take that next step,
Yeah,
no matter what. I think the biggest thing I've heard it, man. I think it was Floyd Mayweather said it. Like, no matter what, any part in life that you're scaling, that you're being successful, you're gonna have someone that love it, and you're gonna have someone that hate it.
yeah,
So I think have you're gonna have love or hate regardless, and continuing to reinvent yourself, you're gonna find others that want to reinvent themselves with you,
yeah,
and you're gonna have others that want you to be the same. So, but at the bottom of your heart where you want to be and what you need to do. So, if you don't have those friends that want to join you, then you'll just have to go the other route.
yeah.
I can't hold back. That's the biggest thing. Gotta have grace. Gotta have faith into that new step. Um, uh, gotta be Man. You gotta be a fighter. Like,
Mm,
when it comes to things, like I think the biggest uphold when it comes to reinventing yourself is comparison, or what do people think of me now? I'm not that same guy.
yeah, man.
But I think the biggest thing is patience.
Mm,
If you're not patient with yourself, then you're just gonna continue to dig yourself in a bigger hole.
mm,
I think that's the biggest thing. Have patience with yourself, but you also do got to have faith in that next step. Because if you don't, then you're just you're gonna dip your toe into the next season, and you're gonna dip back out, and now there's that repeated cycle of, okay, I'm not where I want to be, or I'm
yeah.
stuck, or I feel like I'm not growing as a person. So you really do just gotta take that leap of faith.
I love that, man. You got to take the leap of faith, man.
You know?
Well, listen, Trey, bro, I
Now,
appreciate
I
you more.
appreciate it.
Yeah, more than you know, man. I appreciate the gems that you drop because a lot of this stuff, man. I want these high school kids as I start speaking more to these high schools.
Mhm.
I'm gonna direct them to people like you and these interviews that we've had so that they can see, man. Listen, it's not just me saying it. These are multiple people that have
Mhm.
played in the NFL. These are multiple people that have been stars in college, and they're
Yeah,
all saying the same thing. One day the game will end, but the game is not your identity. Discover your purpose, and there is life, a beautiful life after the game, man. And your
exactly.
your journey is proof of that, bro. Your success isn't just about stats, bro. It's about strategy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's about your story, man. And so your voice is going to add real value to this generation. So I'm excited to get that book in your hand, man, to get your
I'm excited to
testimony
read
about
it.
what you think about it, bro. And I appreciate you for joining today, man, for real.
Man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you for reaching out, and man, looking forward to reading the book. And I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to
All
you
right,
soon.
bro.
All
Absolutely, man. All right, well, Gridiron Games, y'all heard it from the man, the myth, the legend himself. Also, if y'all need to get y'all loans for y'all house, holler at your man Trey
I
Caldwell, man. He
got
gonna get
y'all.
y'all
I
right.
got y'all.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, you know what it is, man. We always dropping these gems. This is Gridiron Games from an athlete to two athletes from an athlete perspective, and for everybody else in between. Y'all know we love y'all, man. And so, with that being said, I want y'all to be blessed by the best and don't stress. And if you align with the divine, everything will be fine. It is your man, Tony the Tycoon. We out. Run well, young lions. Have a good one, brother.